Welcome back. After missing quite a few days of studying chess, I think probably the best thing that I can work on today is puzzles, and I've chosen to work on puzzles that are based on the French defense. On Lichess, you can hover over puzzles, go to the puzzle themes, and then scroll down until you see puzzles by opening, and choose whatever opening that you play. I chose the French defense, and of course it gave me one where I was playing with the white pieces, but I play the French as black, so I switched here to play with the black pieces. Alright, I'll try to remember to follow my checklist. I've updated my checklist over the last several months. One thing that's new for me is that I do a material count first. That often helps determine what kind of puzzle it's going to be, whether it's going to be a checkmating puzzle or a material exchange. Here we both have a queen, we each have 2 minor pieces and 2 rooks. Okay, and then I look for checks. Do I have any checks? I do have a check here, capturing the bishop. I think they would take back, and that would probably be bad for me. And I think that's my only capture too, which is the next thing on the checklist. After that is threats. I don't know what threats I have here. For a second, I thought about pushing this pawn to keep the queen from guarding the bishop, but of course the queen can just take the pawn, or the bishop can just take the pawn. Just like the time that I did puzzles from the English opening, this is a position that I've never seen playing the French defense. I don't know how you would arrive at this, but I guess that's beside the point, and it should help me even if I never reach this position. Another thing on my checklist is to look at how much danger I'm in. It doesn't look like I'm in that much danger. I don't think they can currently checkmate me. Not only is my rook defending the square where they would eventually want to checkmate me, but it would take them a couple of moves to get there. It doesn't look like any of my pieces are hanging. That one's defended, although I suppose they could line up on it. Okay, well, I'm 4 minutes into this video and I have no idea. Again, there's only one check, there's only one capture. I don't see any threats, or even on material. I'm not in that much danger, but it looks like I could be if they decide to line up on my bishop. I guess I could defend the bishop with the knight, but then they could push the pawn forward and the knight would have to go, but then the knight could go over here, which would block their queen from seeing the bishop. Actually, I just realized that's not danger because I have 2 pieces guarding the bishop, so I shouldn't have to worry about that. What else is there? What's going on? Are any of their pieces hanging? Their queen is defended, their bishop is defended, their rook is not defended, so maybe that's something to look at, but I can't get to their rook right. I can't move my bishop out of the way to put my rook over here, and even if I could, there would just be a trade. This other rook over here is trapped, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but again, I can't get any of my pieces aimed over there. My queen, can't get someplace where I can aim at that pawn. That would require 2 piece moves or 2 pawn moves before my queen could get to b6 to threaten that pawn, or to a5 to threaten the rook. I mean, both of those are pretty easily defended against. Okay, the bishop is pinned. I did notice this, the bishop is pinned. So the bishop cannot move right now. This seems a little silly, but could I move my queen here to add an attacker to the bishop because they can't add a defender to it? I would be extremely hesitant to do this in a game, to put my queen right in line with the bishop, because all they have to do is move their king out of the way. But if they move their king out of the way, I take their bishop with one of my 2 pieces. They can't get a pawn there in time. Their knight and rooks are in positions where they cannot possibly defend the bishop. Okay, so maybe that's a threat. I'm threatening to take the bishop. What does the opponent play if I play queen to e8? As we said, if they moved the king, I would just take it, but I don't know which piece would be better to take it with. Probably the... Well, once I took it, I would be ahead a piece, so if they wanted a queen trade, that would be fine. So maybe that, and then my king would still be defending the bishop. Or maybe I should take with the bishop so that my king and queen would still be defending this bishop. Okay, well, this might be wrong, but I'm going to put my queen on e8. That was it, and they moved the king. Oh, now it comes to the question here. I think taking with the queen is best because either way, I still have something defending the bishop, because the bishop's defended 3 ways right now. So I don't have to worry. If I take with my queen, offering the queen trade, take the bishop, I take the bishop. Even if I take the bishop and they bring the queen here and I take the queen and then they take the bishop, my king is still defending the bishop. So I'm going to take with the queen... Wait, yes, I'm going to take with the queen because not only is it offering the queen trade, but it's threatening checkmate. Oh, I hope this is right. Oh, they did take it. Well, then I'll take back. Well, that took me a long time to find, and it came down to the idea that the bishop was pinned and they didn't have a way to add defenders to it. I don't know how to add that to my checklist because my checklist was not helpful on this one, except for eliminating many possibilities. Next. Okay, now this looks a little bit more like a position that I might see when playing the French, or that I might have seen, although I don't know that I would have ever put my knight in there like that. But let's do our material count. We both have all our pieces. Okay, well that's simple enough. And we both have most of our pawns. Do I have any checks? No, cannot check with the knight or any of these pieces. Threats I'll have to come back to. How much danger am I in? I'm not in danger of being checkmated, I don't think, because I mean, my king is defending both of those pawns and they don't have anything else coming at them right now. My knight appears to be the only thing in danger, but I don't have a really safe place to move it. If I move it to h6, they can just take it and then I've broken open my king. And that looks scary. Same thing over here, although if they took on f6, I could take with the rook. If I went over here, they could take with the pawn or the knight. I mean, I could take down here on f2, which attacks their queen. The only way that they could take back is with the king, and then I have my bishop lined up here. So I get a pawn and a knight for the knight, and that's a check. And they have to move the king to get out of that check, and when they do, then I could get the rook for a bishop. Does that sound good? I don't see anything else. Like, I could take this now, but then they take my knight, and then I have to bring the bishop back, and that's just an even trade, so that's not it. I could attack their bishop, but that's not really danger levels. They take mine, I take theirs, and they end up with an extra pawn. And then I could still do this, and they could take, and I could take, and I would get the pawn back, but that's even. Okay, I'm going to take on f2. Oh, okay, well, the only reason I thought that might be a good idea is because I go here and then win the rook for a bishop. What else do I have? Before I go, do I have any checks in this position besides that? No, I don't think I do. This bishop's not pointed at anything right now. That one still is, but there's nothing behind it. I'm going to take that knight with check. Oh, and it stopped. Well, I need to know, when they get out of check, am I supposed to take the rook? Yes, okay. I was pretty sure, but sometimes that's not the case. Well, I feel pretty good about this so far. Next puzzle. Just right off the top of my head, this one looks very easy. I check. They can't move toward it here to e2 because of my pawn. And if they go here, I check again, which removes the defender of their queen. And if they take with the knight, that removes the defender of their queen. I saw that within seconds. I don't know if that's right, though, but it's a check, so they can't take my queen then. My queen's undefended once I move my knight. But does that reasoning follow? Can't go here, so they have to either move the king or take my knight. If they take my knight, I get their queen. And if they move the king, I take their knight with check, and then I get their queen. I'm going to do that. Oh, they did that. Well, I'm going to take the queen. Okay, I must have gotten that slowly because I only got 11 points for it, but I'm surprised that one's rated 1800. Or maybe I'm getting a little bit better on seeing some of these tactics. I'd like to think so, but that idea doesn't always bear itself out in my games. But in puzzles, it seems like I might be getting slightly better at seeing tactics. Honestly, I didn't even notice that this knight was down here. That's probably bad on my part. Next. Okay, our material count is roughly even. I think they might be up one pawn, but we each have 3 minor pieces, 2 rooks, and a queen. My queen is under attack, so that's one level of danger that I'm in here. Also, once I move my queen, they're going to get this pawn with jack. Maybe it's not about moving the queen. Maybe it's about taking the knight. I think it's taking the knight. As soon as I saw that, I thought, oh no, they can take back, but then I have mate. Wait, no, I don't. Their knight's there. Never mind. Okay, I take the bishop. They take back. They might not take back, but my bishop's pointed at their queen, so they might. What if I check here then on d3 because their queen's not there anymore? When they move over, then I get their knight with jack and win the rook. That sounds good. And that way I don't lose my queen or this pawn. Do I have any other checks besides first taking there, hoping that they might not take back? I don't know. If I take there and they don't take back, then I just went up a piece. So I think that's fine. But if they do take back, I think I check on d3. Oh, they don't have to go over. They could block with the knight. But if they block with the knight, then I have mate. Okay, I think that's it. Oh, they took. Well, then I'm going to check right here on d3. It's got to be that, right? They did that, so I'm going to take the knight. And then when they get out of check, I'm not going to take the rook. What? If they go to e2, then I would want to bring this rook over to f8 would be my next move. Oh, wow. I wouldn't have gotten that. But if they went to d1, then it says I would take the rook. Okay, I'm curious if they went to e2, would taking the rook be okay? It's not one of the top 2 moves. Rook to f8, queen to c2 check. How bad would taking the rook be? Okay, not that bad. Okay, I would still be fine. Whew. I felt like all of those were a little easier than the first one. Seemed like the first one was the hardest, the second one was a little easier, and these last 2 did not seem difficult to me. I shouldn't say that. I probably just jinxed myself, and now the next one's going to be, unsolvable by someone at my level. Next. Well, things look bad. Things look very bad for me. Material count shows that we're about even on material, again, but I'm in more danger. At least it looks like I'm in danger. Not only am I currently in check, but if I take that, they get my rook with check. And if I move out, they still get the rook. And I'm not threatening mate, I don't think. Okay, so do I take it or get out of check? If I take it, they take the rook with check, and then I have to bring the knight back here to block the check. Okay, no. If I take it, because I just realized their knight's here, But my knight's here, but they still get the rook. If I move, they get the rook, and then I get the knight, but then they get my knight with check. And in this one, I don't have to look for checks or captures because I'm in check. So there's like, I have a different checklist for this. But because I know it's a puzzle, I know that the way that I get out of check matters, especially because there's obviously multiple options. I just realized it's not just taking or moving out of check. I could also block with the queen. I don't think that's good. I could also block with the knight, which I don't know. That's probably not good either. If I blocked with the knight, I think they would just take it. Then I would have to take with the queen. Then they would take my rook with check, and I would have to block with the queen. Or I could block with the knight, I guess. The other knight. Oh, I can take it with this knight, which opens up this bishop's attack over here. I didn't even see that. Okay, I'm going to try that one. That one looks a lot better than what I was trying. Oh, okay. I thought they were going to take my rook, but they're not, so I should check. Right? There's a way to check. If I check, I mean, they could just take it. Then I would check again, and they could block with the bishop. Then I would take here, and they would have to move the rook someplace. No, their queen's down there. Oh, their queen's down there. Their queen is still guarding this square. Oh my. Well, should I check with my queen now? And if they move over, I can check with the bishop, and I think that's mate. No, they would block with the knight, but then that would be mate. Or if they come up, then I'm not sure. Check here. Oh, if they come up, I could get that rook. Check. What if they move over? Then I guess I could check again. No. What if I check and no matter where they go, I take this knight? Because we're still even on material. I took their bishop, they took my knight, and my knight's guarding that square. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, they blocked the check. I didn't even think of that. Oh, I guess they could have blocked it this way too. But I'm going to take this knight. And then they're probably going to take my queen, and I'm going to take back, and I will be up a minor piece. I think that's good. Well, nothing makes sense now except taking the queen with my knight. Oh, boy. It's been a long time since I got 5 in a row on Lichess, when doing actual puzzles rather than, say, maiden ones or something. That one was a little harder. And it took a long time because I didn't see the other knight that could take their bishop. I had 2 knights that could have taken that bishop. That one was tricky. But I feel good that at least 2 of them I solved pretty quickly. Like I saw it before I had a chance to say anything. As I was gathering my thoughts to start speaking about my checklist, I saw what I was pretty sure was the solution. And another one wasn't that hard. Just the first one seemed difficult to me, and this last one seemed difficult to me. There were a lot of options. That seems to be something that I have trouble with, is the more options there are, the harder of a time I have of narrowing them down. If there's just 2 options, usually I can sometimes, find which one's better or find something wrong with the other one. But when there's 3 or 4 options here, there were 3 different options, moving the king or taking the bishop 2 different ways, one of which I didn't see for embarrassingly long time. Thank you for spending your time here. Hopefully you're getting better at chess, and I'll see you next time.